morning students. So we are starting the topic improvement in crop yield. In the last class I explained you about the crop variety improvement. Today we will discuss about and I will explain you about crop production management. So what is crop production management? Crop production management deals with the various aspects. First we will see we have to crop production means what? We have to improvise our techniques for better yield and better production. So for that, the farmer should have the proper financial condition. If a farmer is having a proper financial condition, definitely they can invest more inputs towards it. That farmer will definitely use good agricultural methods, group farming practices. As a result, we will be getting higher production, higher quality, and the production will be more. So, as I explained you, it involves the controls of various aspects of crop production for the best yield. It is the financial condition which allows the farmers to take up different farming practices and agricultural technologies. This is the correlation between the higher inputs and yields. If a farmer will invest more, input will be more. Definitely, we will be getting the results more, better production, better good quality of production. So, the purchasing capacity of a farmer for inputs decides the cropping system. If the farmer is having the good financial condition, he will invest more. Definitely, the inputs will be more, and if the input will be more, the output will be more. So, cropping practices, that farmer will be having the good cropping system, good production practices, good agricultural technologies. They will be implementing to that farming practices. Next, thus production practices can be grouped into three levels, that is no cost, low cost and high cost production practices. Now the crop production practices includes nutrient management, like we have to provide or the farmers have to provide the good nutrients to the plant for getting more production. Irrigation facilities should be good and cropping pattern should be good. By changing the cropping pattern, they can improvise or enhance their production. Next, first we will discuss about the nutrient management. As you know, we all need nutrients. We human beings need nutrients, animals need nutrients. So, nutrients provide us energy for the growth and development of our body, for wear and tear of your body. As us, like we need the carbohydrates, fats, nutrients, we need carbohydrates, fats, minerals, nutrients, no? So, plants are autotrophs. They do not need all these. They can also utilize the inorganic sources, like they can get the inorganic elements which are supplied by the plants by air, water and soil. They are autotrophs. They can prepare their own food. So they are getting the nutrients are supplied through the air, water and through the soil. So basically there are basically if I told you the plants are having the 40 elements, out of which some are very essential elements, or you can say that indispensable elements, and some are non-essential elements. So basically now we are talking about the essential elements which are very much important for the growth and development of the plants. So basically there are 17 elements. So these 17 essential nutrients for plants, they are getting from various sources, like from air, water and from soil. See this table and learn it properly, learn it thoroughly. So out of that 17 essential nutrients, some nutrients the plants need in the large quantity, so that are called as macronutrients, which needs in a large quantity or more amount. So that are called as macronutrients. So these are the macronutrients. So these macronutrients are 9 nutrients. Out of these 17 essential nutrients, these macronutrients are in number 9. So that is carbon, oxygen, hydrogen, and these all are macronutrients: nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, calcium, sulfur and magnesium. So out of these 17 essential nutrients, some nutrients need in more amount, or you can say in the large amount. Those are called as macronutrients. And remaining 8 nutrients are required in less amount are called as micronutrients. These are remaining 8 elements. So because these needs in a small quantities. These nutrients are iron, manganese, zinc, boron, copper, molybdenum, chlorine and nickel. So students, the growth of the plants directly depends upon the availability of the nutrients. If we are providing the proper micro and macronutrients to the plant, definitely we will avail the good productivity or the good production. If the plant will deficient of these important micro and micronutrients, definitely the crop yield will be very poor. So we have to maintain the optimum supply of all these nutrients for getting the good yield. As well, they also need manures and fertilizers for proper growth and development. Okay, so nutrients are very much essential, and if we are providing manures and fertilizers to the plant, they will definitely the production will also enhance. So now we will study about the manures and fertilizers. So next we will study about manure and fertilization. What is manure? Manure are the natural fertilizers which if we are providing it to the plant, it will improvise their production. See, how do the manures were prepared? They are the organic substances formed by the decomposition of animal waste, the plant's waste, supplies animal waste, plant waste, excreta or weeds. When we used to compost it, then after decomposition, they will form the compost or manures. So these are the natural fertilizers. They are the organic substance formed by the decomposition of animal excreta and plant waste. It supply the small quantities of nutrients to the soil. Now, how we can classify the manures? Manures can be classified as compost and vermicompost and green manures. So definitely there are two types of manures. What is compost? Compost, as I explained you now, only when the decomposition of animal, human waste, excreta takes place, the decomposition of the process in which the farm waste materials, livestock, excreta, cow dung, vegetable waste, animal refuge, domestic waste, sewage waste, all these waste are decomposed. Eradicated weeds means unwanted plants. So eradicated weeds, straw are decomposed in a pits are known as composting. When these all are decomposed in a pits, that is known as composting. The compost, this compost are rich in organic matter and nutrients. They supplies they supplies the nutrients to the plants. Preparation of compost by using earthworms to hasten the process of decomposition. Actually, when the process during this compost pit, we used to say this compost pit, we used to decompose all the human excreta, animal excreta, all the waste there only, and kept it for decomposition. And in this vermicomposting, we used to put some earthworm. They used to hasten the process. Hasten means to use to multiply the process, or you can say they can process fast. They will process fast. This is the process of decomposition. So the process of decomposition takes place very rapidly when you are providing the earthworms into the compost. So preparation of compost by using earthworms to hasten the process of decomposition of plants and animal refuse is called as vermicomposting. And now the second types is green manure. Green manure is nothing but the small plants which are grow like sun hemp and guar. When these are mulched with the soil before sowing. So before sowing the crop seeds, some plants such as sun hemp and guar are grown and mulched by plowing into the soil. They get mixed up, or you can say the mulch with the soil before sowing the seeds. So that is called as green manure. After that, these small green plants turn into the green manure and helps in these green manure, you can say this. You can term it as green manure. Okay. So then again I am repeating, when the small plants like sun hemp and guar, they are mulched with the soil or mixed with the soil, okay, before sowing. So they will, after decomposition, they will form the green manure. So what is the benefits of this green manure? It helps in increasing the nitrogen and phosphorus content in the soil. And now it also helps in improve hydration, aeration and crumb structure of the soil. So these all are these all points are about manures. Next, what are the advantages of manure? Now we will discuss about advantages of manure. Just I want to tell you the long term for the long term advantages, the manures are good. But for the short term advantages, only for short term or for timing advantages of fertilizer can give. But for the long term, always manure will be preferred. So what are the advantages of manures? Enriches soil with nutrients and organic matter. Definitely they will enrich the soil, increases the soil fertility. They will increase the structure of the soil, and if they will increase the structure of the soil, it helps in improvising the soil structure. Definitely the soil fertility will be increases, and if the soil fertility will be increases, then the harmful effects of pesticides and insecticides are reduced. Next, improving the soil structure. How it will improvise the soil structure? Like it will increase the water holding capacity of clay soil as well. They also in the clay soil, a large amount of organic matter helps in drainage and avoiding waterlogging. Next, helps in the recycling of farm waste. It helps in these all farm waste get recycled and used as manure. And also, if we are using the manure, we will not use the fertilizers. So the harmful we can protect our plant from the harmful use of insecticides, pesticides, and this fertilizers. Next is fertilizers. What are fertilizers? These are commercially produced plant nutrients. They provide NPK, or you can say the nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium to the soil. What are the advantages of the fertilizers? They are easily available, easy to use and store, easy to transport. Making manure is a lengthy process, but this is very easily available, easy to use as well, store. Helps in the higher yields of high cost farming, and it is expensive in cost though, so it will give advantage in high cost farming with the higher yields. Last, they are used to ensure good vegetative growth, leaves, branches and flowers, and give rise to the healthy plants. Next, we will see the disadvantages of the fertilizers. Need to apply it very carefully. Means before applying this fertilizers, a farmer should know when to use and how much amount is used. Because excessive use of fertilizers cause very damage, cause hamper to the soil, that cause damage to the crop plant as well. So need to be applied very carefully, proper dose, proper time, and looking after their pre and post application precautions for their complete utilization. Otherwise, they will damage the crop as well as the field. Next, for example, excessive use of fertilizers can cause the water pollution. If a farmer is not knowing the proper use and amount of the fertilizers, if the excessive use of fertilizers is there, then it will not being absorbed by the plants, and if it is not being absorbed by the plant, it get washed away, and flows and drains into the river, ponds or lake, and there also they will hampers the aquatic life as well. The excessive fertilizers will also damages the field. So so many disadvantages are there. Next, they destroys the soil fertility. Long term effect, or you can say the continuous effect of fertilizers may damage the fertility of the soil as well. Next, they provide short term benefits. Only for the short term benefits you can apply it. Long term benefits are not seen very good. It's not seen or not observe very good results, because they also destroy the soil fertility, as well as the microorganisms which are living in the soil also get killed by this use of fertilizers. So next we will study about the organic farming. If we are adapting the organic farming practices, greater yield we can achieve it by the organic farming practices. Next is organic farming. Organic farming is an eco-friendly farming systems. In organic farming, the farming practices are takes place in all natural methods or natural methods, and so it will not provide any damage to the crop as well as to the field. It is very eco-friendly. What are the features of organic farming? So first, fertilizers, herbicides, pesticides, etc. are used in minimal quantities, or maybe it will not being used. Okay. Organic manures, recycled farm waste are used in maximum. Next, fertilizers. Biofertilizers formed used by bioagents such as culture of blue-green algae, legumes, rhizobium, etc. are used. Biofertilizers are used. Biofertilizers means that are produced by the bioagents. These are the natural agents, natural living agents such as culture of blue-green algae and legumes, rhizobiums. These fertilizers are being formed for storage purpose in this organic farming. Now for the storage purpose, the biopesticides such as neem leaves, turmeric are used, and these cropping systems are beneficial in insects, pests and use control in providing nutrients. So it is the best method. The organic farming is the best method you can ever being used for the good quality of crop yield, as well as the healthy crop as well as the good production. So students, in today's class we studied about the crop production management, and in crop production management we see the points of how we see the points like how we are providing the nutrients to the plant. So first, as I explained you, in crop production management we will go through the three topics, that is the nutrient management, irrigation facilities, and third one irrigation facilities, and third is the cropping pattern. So today we will study about this nutrient management. Okay. In the next class we will go through this topic, that is irrigation facilities and cropping pattern. Okay. So in today's topic we studies about the nutrient management, how the nutrients are important for the plants, what is macronutrients, what are micronutrients. After that, along with the nutrients, if we provide the manures and fertilizers to the plant, we will be getting the additional benefit. And then we discussed about the advantages and disadvantages of manures and fertilizers, and last we studied about the organic farming. So thank you for today. In the next class we are continuing with this topic, that is second. We will go through with the irrigation facilities and cropping pattern.